If you've hit a brick wall with how much you can charge and you are sick of being underpaid, there are 4 things that could be holding you back from charging more. This is the stuff, these 4 things that are guaranteed to keep you in what I call Zombieland, the land of the living dead. This is where you're earning just enough to survive, but not anywhere close to enough to thrive. So if you're sick of being underpaid, you're ready to charge more, and you're ready to finally break through your income ceiling, this video is for you. So if you're still watching at this point, I feel like it's safe to assume you are a freelancer, you feel like you're probably underpaid, and you're looking for ways to get out of the zombie land, the land of the living dead. So if that's the case, let's go into the 4 reasons that could be holding you back from charging more for your services. Reason number 1, and I'm just being brutally honest here because this is the most common reason I see people stuck at plateaus in their rates. Reason number 1 is you were just not good at what you do. I'm not trying to be mean here. I'm just trying to face reality. When it comes to the skill you are trying to sell, if you are not good at that skill, there is only so much you can charge for what you do. And that's just reality. I can't sugarcoat this. Now, most people that this is the problem, they don't have the self-awareness to understand that this is the actual issue. So I'm going to give you a couple signs that this could be the problem for you. Sign number 1, that you're just not good at what you do, is that you can't even get people to hire you for free. If you can't get free work, you were bad. And if you were bad, you have to improve. There's no way around it. You will never get past whatever income ceiling you're at right now if you are bad at what you do. So you have to get better. If you can't even get free work, you're not going to get paid work. Sign number 2 is that maybe you are getting paid for your services, but if the person is not coming back to you, if that client is not coming back to you again and again throughout their lifetime with you, then it's likely you're not good at what you do. Or it could be there's other issues like your personality or other things that are outside of your core skill. But a lot of the times it's because they did not like the thing that you gave them. It was not of the quality that they were expecting. The value did not match the price. And again, this is very important in this conversation today. Value and price are 2 separate things. You should always provide more value than the price that you charge. There should be always a bit of a gap there between those 2 things. And when you are bad at what you do, the price is almost always higher than the value they get. And that's why you are struggling to raise your rates. So I have a challenge for you here. If this is potentially the area you are struggling with, is that in order to get the value up, you have to improve the skill. And the only way to improve the skill is to put the time, effort, and energy in to improving that skill. So my question to you is, how much time have you actually spent butt in seat learning the skill that you are trying to offer for a service? Imagine it like this guitar over here. If you sit here and you're trying to get better at guitar because that's what you do for a living, how much time have you actually spent in the seat? Running drills, like learning skills, learning new things, learning new songs, learning new skills like sweep picking or like lead. I don't know. I don't play guitar anymore that much, but I'm just saying, like, how much time have you spent butt in seat learning the skill you're trying to sell? Most people, some people spend a lot of time. They spend too much time and they don't ever charge anything because it's a confidence issue, which we'll get to. But most people, they don't actually invest the amount of time, effort, and energy into the skill as someone who is a professional would actually do. And in a lot of professions outside of freelancing, they have something called continued education. And for lawyers, for a lot of doctors, for accountants, they have to go a couple times a year, go off and do continued education is required. But as freelancers, we don't have that sort of accountability. We are left to our own devices. And for most people, if we're left to our own devices, we're going to fiddle around with whatever we're interested in without actually having intentional time practicing and honing our skills. One more thing though, with this, I have another challenge for you on this, and it's me challenging you for how much have you actually spent developing the skill over your lifetime. This goes above and beyond your college degree, because the college degree, I'm sorry, but it likely didn't teach you anything worth selling, unfortunately. To hone your skills as a freelancer, you have to be willing to invest money into honing those skills. There are so many amazing courses, membership sites, learning platforms, coaching programs, like masterminds that you can pay to be a part of in order to hone those skills, but most people don't. The people that I have seen that make the most money have invested an immense amount of money in their skills, and it's because they understand one core thing, and that is investments into your skills, especially the core skill that you're selling, is the best investment you can possibly make. It's going to make you more than Bitcoin will. It'll make you more than the stock market will. It'll make you more than investing in your cousin's barbershop down the road. This stuff is with you for life once you invest into it. And I have spent over $150,000 last time I checked in developing my own skills. And that's above and beyond any college education, which I have none. I didn't go to college. I spent $150,000 or more of my own money just honing and developing the skills that I now monetize to this day. Now, I don't have any skin in the game when it comes to paid programs. I'm not here to sell you a course on being a better audio engineer or a better photographer or a better videographer. I'm not here for that. But that's on you. You have to go find those resources, and there are so many great ones out there. Don't be a skeptic. As freelancers and creatives, we tend to be so skeptical of investing in programs and courses and coaching. Again, the people that I see with the most success are the ones who spend money without a second thought developing a core skill. If you get one thing out of a course, one thing out of a coach, one thing out of a membership site, one thing out of a connection with somebody, it can pay you 10, 50, 100x throughout your lifetime just learning one crucial thing that you're missing. So that's reason number one. You're just bad at what you do, and you've got to improve that. But let's now move past the people to the people that are already good at what they do. That's the core skill you have is good. And that's a lot of people, surprisingly, who are still stuck in low rate land. But let's move on to reason two of why you're stuck in the zombie land of low rates. And that's because you have a bad relationship with money. Ooh, this is a tough one because everyone has a different relationship with money. And as creatives, there's this like icky, evil feeling associated with money where like as a six-figure creative, we seem like a scammy site or something, or like it just sounds bad. Like when you put money with creativity, people all of a sudden feel this really weird tension. And a lot of times, sometimes it's warranted. People are like just greedy or mean or like they don't care about anyone else. But a lot of times it's this bad relationship with money that we grew up with. So maybe it's our families or our social circles today that are making this relationship really weird. We don't have a healthy relationship with money. The right mindset to have with money is this. It is money is a tool and it is a sign that you have created value on this earth. So by raising your rates, if people are willing to pay it, it's because the value you have created for them is above and beyond what you were paying them. That is it in a nutshell. There's a lot of evil sides of capitalism and things. We don't have to get into that. That doesn't pertain to us as freelancers because we are not lobbying the government for certain things. We're not bribing people. We're not doing evil things with our skills and the money that we get. We're just trying to survive, and not just survive, we're trying to thrive. So it's okay to charge what we're worth as a freelancer. And if we have this horrible toxic mindset or even just this unknown negative mindset towards money where we feel guilty for earning money, we're never going to get past whatever rate cap you're stuck at. Because I'll tell you right now, so many freelancers I've come across in my lifetime that are great at what they do, and they're stuck at this rate because they're afraid to charge more because they feel guilty because their friends or past clients or people that know people that they know they're afraid that someone will find out how much they make. And if you make too much money, if you make more than your friends and family, a lot of times that adds this weird tension. And I know this because I grew up in Alabama where the average household income in my city was like $30,000 or $40,000. And I quickly went above that. And then I was earning the most in my social circle. And it was honestly a bit weird. And that was because of partially my negative money mindset, but a lot of it was on them. And so we've got to work through our own problems, and we have to be willing to allow people to have their own problems and separate those two things as freelancers. Now, it's not just guilt when it comes to bad relationships with money. There's something called scarcity. Scarcity, when it comes to pricing, is when you are afraid to raise your rates because you were afraid of rejection. And I know that gut punched a lot of people right now, but if you're afraid of rejection, and that's the reason you won't raise your rates, you will never get past that until you've addressed this fear-based scarcity mindset that is holding you back from raising your rates. Now, there's a couple areas that this can come from. The most common one is that you just don't have any other clients to replace the ones that would reject you. You should be turned down from projects. As a matter of fact, most people, I tell them, if you are getting turned down any less than 1 out of 2 times, like for every quote you send out or proposal you send out or pitch you give somebody, if you don't lose at least half of those, you're charging way too much. In a lot of cases, you should likely be losing about 1/4 or 3/4 of your pitches or your quotes or your proposals, however you do your business. 1 out of 4 should be what you aim to close for the most efficient pricing model. Now, this is going to vary from place to place, from person to person. It depends on how your sales skills are, depends on what market you're in, but generally 1 out of 4 is a good number to shoot for in a lot of cases. That shows me that you are you're starting to butt up against what the maximum price you should be charging is. If you're doing below that, there's a big deficiency somewhere in the amount of value you're providing versus how much you're charging, or you're missing another core skill like sales or some other thing that you're doing wrong. So that is reason number 2 that you are likely struggling to raise your rates, is because you just have a bad relationship with money, and that needs to be worked on. I can't fix it in this video, but at least understanding that this is an issue you have, if you can admit it to yourself, you can start to make that recovery. So let's move on to number 3 here, and let's just assume that you are good at what you do, the core skill you offer. You have a good relationship with money. You're not afraid to raise your rates. You don't have guilt behind that. You don't have a scarcity mindset behind rate raises. Reason number three that you have hit this income plateau or this rate plateau is because you failed to develop the other skills you need. On this channel and on the podcast that we have, all the time I say it takes more than passion to become a six-figure creative. And that is because there are other skills above and beyond the skills you're passionate about. Reason number one, you're bad at the core skill. That's just like fundamentals baseball. You have to have that. That's the bare minimum. You have to be good at what you do in order to make money doing it. But in order to thrive, to get out of Zombieland, the land of the living dead, where you're just earning enough to coast and not buy the things you want or do the things you want or support your family in the way you want, the way to get past that is develop these other skills that you necessarily don't love to do. Unless you're crazy like me. None of us as creatives like to do marketing. None of us like to do sales. None of us like to do the hard work for people skills or just fixing those deficits we have as a person. Those things are all important skills that we have to develop, and we have to hone the exact same way we hone the core skill that we offer. Just like I talked about the practicing guitar, like where you're sitting and intentionally focused, head down, practicing on a certain thing that you struggle with, you have to take that same exact approach to those other skills like marketing, sales, lead generation. You have to learn email automation if that's the way you want to go. Paid advertising if you're trying to learn that way. Going to networking events, but also understanding social dynamics so that you don't bomb at these social events if you're trying to network. All of these things are things that have to be honed and developed over time, and they can't just be glazed over or ignored. If you are ignoring these things, you're missing a massive opportunity to grow and develop as a person, which also shows up in your business because there is no separation. As a freelancer, there's no separation between you and your business. They are both the same thing. So for number 3 here, I have a challenge for you. This is a challenge question, is how much have you actually spent developing new skills above and beyond your core skill over the last 2 years? If you've hit an income plateau or you've hit a rate bump, a rate ceiling that you cannot get past, chances are you have not invested time, effort, energy, or money developing those skills over the past 2 years. I would virtually guarantee it. So that's number 3, is you failed to develop the other skills that you need. And I'm about to go to number 4 here, but I want to make sure I share something that's helpful for you because this is the area that I can help. And that is understanding what these other skills are. If you are struggling with your business above and beyond the core skill that you offer, you're not sure what other skills you need, especially in the marketing front, I want to invite you to my 5x1 marketing method workshop. It gives you 5 fundamental core areas that you have to develop and understand and build out to have an effective marketing plan. And this is actually more than just marketing because, believe it or not, marketing is more than just a YouTube video. It's more than just a podcast. It's more than just a Facebook ad or a Google ad or a TikTok ad or a TikTok account. It's more than just these things. There's actually 5 different areas that you have to have, and it's all about developing skills and around those 5 areas. So if you want that resource, just go to sixfigurecreative.com/marketing to go sign up for that. It's just a short 12 to 15 minute video going over those 5 things. And I think it'll give you a lot of help if this is the area that you're struggling with. You can't get past whatever you're charging right now. So let's move on to number 4. And let's just assume you've developed all of these skills. You're good at what you do. You have a good, healthy money mindset. Your core skill has been honed and developed. All these peripheral skills that you need as a freelancer, an entrepreneur, have been developed. Reason number 4 that you are stuck at your current income ceiling is because you are not making the best use of your current skills. This is an area that I also see so many people struggle in. I've seen that a lot of times where you are like incredible. You're a great entrepreneur, but you're stuck in a bad market. You're working with a bad type of client, or you haven't really built things out to best serve your business. And we, as creatives, like there's 2 hats we have to wear. Hat number 1 is like, we're the creative. But as a freelancer, we have a hat number 2, which is making money as a business owner. And we have to find a way to make sure these 2 people aren't fighting with each other all the time, because we can't just have a business that's the most profitable, because that's just a soul-sucking kind of day job, although it's better than being broke. But we can't also just be the super like creative where all we're working on is on the art, and that's all we're doing, because it takes more than passion if we want to make a living doing this, and especially if you want to thrive. So one thing to look at is when you have the service you're offering, you've honed this like incredible offer that you're giving people, this cool transformation. Are you offering this to the best type of person? I'm going to give you an example. One of my coaching students, he was working as a podcast editor and just doing like nickel and dime types of projects, just doing like editing. He was just doing show notes for people. He was doing like these little things here and there. And I started coaching him last year, and we completely redeveloped everything that he's doing as a business owner. And we took all of these little piecemeal skills And we package them up into a much better, bigger transformational offer, which adds a lot more value to the end client. But not only that, instead of working with these like mom and pop podcasts, we also shifted this ability he already had. We packaged it in a more appealing way, and we went to corporate clients in his area. His first two clients that he got, the first one was about $25,000 a year. The second client was, I believe he just emailed me like last week, was about $12,000 a year. So with two clients, he's earning 3 or 4 times as much as he was before, working with a bunch of different clients doing like piecemeal services. So that is taking a skill set he already had. It was working in an industry he was already in. It was podcast editing, but it was taking those skills and fleshing them out into a bigger, better package, offering it to a client who can get more value out of it. And because of that, he's gone up to like $40,000. He'll make $40,000 just off these two clients in the first year. And these are recurring clients. So next year he'll earn another chunk of money off those same exact clients. So this is just an example I'm pulling from my experience and from people I've worked with of saying, if you have a skill, are you taking that skill and actually offering it to the best type of client for you? Now, that doesn't mean, again, go blindly finding people who will pay the most money, but I do want to push back that a lot of people we've had on our podcast for Six Figure Creative Podcast, which by the way, if you haven't listened to it, you need to. On that podcast, we've talked to photographers, videographers, people working with corporate clients. And there's a reason for that. It's because they have budgets. Corporate clients have good budgets. And it's not just corporate clients. There's other people that still have good budgets, but people completely ignore that because they are so focused on the art itself. And a lot of times you can have just as much joy and fulfillment offering your services to someone who actually has a budget. You can be just as good as you are right now, and you can charge 3 to 5 to 10 times more than someone who's working in kind of nickel and dime mom and pop type of clients. And this is going to vary depending on what your skill set is, what niche you're in, what you're offering people. But there's almost always going to be a bigger and better client who can pay you way more money for the exact same thing you've been offering for the past 2 years. And just that shift alone can double or triple your income just by going after a better client. So that's the 4 reasons, the 4 roadblocks, the things that are likely holding you back from charging what you should be charging and raising your rates and getting out of Zombieland, the land of the living dead. And I want to again offer you that resource that I gave you earlier, which is the 5x1 marketing method. These are the 5 different areas, the 5 different things you have to have in a good marketing plan. And it starts with you. These are these extra skills that you need to invest into yourself in order to become a better entrepreneur so that you can be more appealing to those better clients, those bigger and better clients, and ultimately get past that rate limit that you've been on and get out of the land of living dead. If you want that resource, just go to sixfigurecreative.com/marketing. That's all I have for you today. Remember, it takes more than just passion to become a 6-figure creative.